Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're from. This is Kavita Ramchand from Life Success Coaching in Mauritius. So, we are talking about, I'm reading to you the book You Were Born Rich in English and also in Creole. The Creole is the local language of Mauritius, English is the universal language that everybody can understand. So, let's continue. We are on chapter 7 and it's about the risk takers. And if you're somebody who's in a business, any business, you know that a business involves risks. You have to be a risk taker if you want to run a successful business. So let me continue this chapter. It says here, you should understand at this juncture that as soon as you seriously set a big goal for yourself, you're going to become involved in a process of risk taking, which will add a dimension of excitement, indeed a whole new flavor to the course of your life. See, if you're just going about doing the same old thing every day, there's no excitement in life. This life is meant to be an adventure, right? So you want to be able to keep growing and taking risks and going to the next level and facing all your challenges. All right. So now, but at the same time, you should be aware that as you start engaging in more risk taking behavior, the majority of people will be trying to avoid it at all costs. In other words, instead of taking meaningful risks, most people will continue to insure themselves in a series of empty compromises. These compromises, in turn, will ultimately have the effect of reducing their existence to the level of a meaningless charade. To understand how this phenomenon operates, just consider the people from whom you know have compromised when buying their new home. Why did they compromise? You ask. Because they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to make the mortgage payments on that dream home they truly wanted to live in. You know, this is something that I find it's not strange. I used to think it's strange, but after understanding why people say things and don't do it, is because there is some kind of risk that you need to take to be able to do what you want to do. That risk is basically being true to yourself, number one, that, okay, I've said it and I'm going to do it. If they knew how to do it, they would have already done it. But they didn't know how to do it. That's why they wanted it. And if you want something, you want to just know that if you want it, you can have it. That's it. Now, I'll give you an example of something I had said once. I had said that I'm going to change the education system in my country. Did I do anything about it? No. I just sat down and did nothing about it because I didn't know how I was going to do something like that. But when I started to reach a point of total dissatisfaction in life, like, like that going on the hamster's wheel again and again, again and again until you get so sick and tired of being in that place because you're not growing. And when I decided to step out of that comfort zone, which was keeping me not only stuck, but now I was beginning to lose my health because it gets taxing to keep going and doing that work and not moving forward because we want to move forward in life. And when I realized that my health was being affected, now I said, no, something has to change. I cannot get stuck like this. And when I started to move forward, and when I was asked, what do I want to do? What do I really want? Something that is worthy of my presence here on earth. I didn't know what to say for a long time because I couldn't even think of what I wanted, number one. And secondly, even if I wanted to change the education system, how am I even going to do that? Right? So then what we do, we just compromise on whatever we said we are going to do. Now, you may have some other goals that you want in your life. It doesn't have to be the same like mine. But then you want to know that if you want to achieve it, you can. You just have to understand how your mind is full of magic, and if you tap into this power that you have, you can have anything you want. It's that simple. Not so easy, but it's very simple. Then turn your mind to the veritable armies of individuals who remain in positions at work which they find dull and unrewarding. Why do they stay? Simply because they fear they would not be able to cope with the position which they would truly love to tackle. The irony is, of course, if these people would simply put themselves out on a limb by going after that better job or that dream home or whatever else it is they truly desire, they would then demand a commensurately better performance from themselves. As a result, they would soon discover that the risk they had taken was actually paying big dividends in all aspects of their life. They would then demand basically, if we are not going after our dream or after the things we want and we are just compromising, we will eventually soon realize that we are paying big dividends for staying in that stuck position. In all areas of our life, we will start to feel the dissatisfaction. That's the way it is because life is about growth. And if we are not growing, we are going in the reverse direction. The Young Millionaires. Several years ago, I read an excellent book on the subject of risk taking. It was entitled The Young Millionaires, and it contained the true life stories of 18 individuals, each of whom had earned in excess of $1 million. Imagine 18-year-olds, I mean, not 18-year-olds, but young, young individuals, 18 of them. In fact, some of these people had actually earned many millions of dollars over and above the 1 million mark, $1 million mark, during the course of their highly successful careers. Throughout the book, the author made many interesting observations about the law of financial success. But the most important one was the one which he kept coming back to. Namely, although these individuals came from a variety of of different backgrounds, and although each had earned their money in a different way, they all shared one thing in common. What was that one thing, you ask? Simply put, it was this. Even though everything they owned was riding on the outcome of virtually every major business decision which they made, none of them considered themselves to be taking risks. You see, they didn't understand decision to be taking a risk. They understand decision is you're going after what you want. You just have to decide that you want that. The reason they didn't, he went on to explain, was because they were living their lives as though it were impossible to fail. Note, however, that in the eyes of most people, there would be no question that these individuals were taking tremendous risks and almost on a daily basis. See, if you want to grow, you just have to make a decision that I'm going there. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know I have to get there. This is how I know I've made all the decisions in my life until I was that place where I was stuck. But whenever I wanted something, I would just say, I want that. I never knew how I was going to get it, but I always got it because I always took the steps to get what I wanted. Or maybe if I didn't take the steps, the fact that I just said I want it, the universe had to conspire for it to manifest. It may come from some other source. Maybe my husband would bring it or somebody else. Sometimes most of the time, I didn't even have to take action. And then came a point when I did take action and I got huge results. Action is king. So thank you very much for being here. And I hope that you have a riskful day so you can have some great results. Thank you very much and bye bye.